today.
I think we should start scheduling
But
so that people can be here to watch it live.
yeah, but we have to stick to the time.
Yeah, well, that might help me. I do like structure that way. I do need that structure, but I need the structure done for me. So if I have to set a time for myself every day, sorry, I shouldn't be doing that to my nose. I do need a tissue, actually. Sorry. But yeah, I thought we didn't have to go. Oh, we don't have to. Wow. Look at, I just sent my husband off on a tissue goose chase. I'm so sorry, darling.
Tissue goose.
The tissue goose chase. But I have to just, not. And I completely forgot I was wearing two different earrings because I still haven't decided what pair suits what I'm wearing today, which I'm wearing the Fabric of Society dress that I have just, cinched over here and pulled up over here. Otherwise, it's all just too floppy. I like structure. I like structure that is that is flexible as well. So, but yes, with the structure of the Daily Egg, I quite like, because what's flexible within the Daily Egg is that it's unscripted and unedited. So that's enough flexibility and the right kind of flexibility for me that I want. But I feel, why am I lisping my words? Sorry, I don't mean to. I hope that didn't sound like I was joking about it. Why, I think we should structure and say that at 10 o'clock every day, the Daily Egg is on. Oh, is that too much?
Yeah, sure.
9 o'clock would be better, actually, right?
Well, whatever.
What do
See,
you-
that's the thing.
But we do,
I
but
think 10 o'clock is better for us.
okay, but we just like to take our time waking
right.
up.
So that way, if we're late, then no. That way, yeah, yeah. If we're late, it's okay because it's 10 o'clock.
Sure.
But 9 o'clock is if we're late at 9. No, that's not.
See, I like doing things live. And but I do feel that, well, maybe people, this is a very awkward time for most people. I really don't like anything that's going on with my hair or anything right now. Sorry, I do digress. I do think people like to just have the freedom of watching the videos after the live anytime they want and at their own leisure and skip ahead or whatever. I don't know. I don't think people have the patience or the mindset to be able to sit through an hour of something like this. Mm-hmm. I think people need to go and in the same way I can't watch a movie without reading. Mm-hmm. I have to scroll through something or read a book or something like that.
Well, people got shit to do as well,
It's not just that. It's people with good time management can do one thing at a time. People whose minds are not fragmented by various, whatever things that fragment, are able to do those things. However, I do think it is a superpower that, like, for instance, I can multitask. And as I have talked about, trauma. I haven't been diagnosed with something like ADD or ADHD. I haven't been diagnosed with that, but I recognize, thanks to Dr. social media and the accounts I follow and the research I've done, and further talk with medical professionals, but I haven't been diagnosed with this just yet because it's a bit of a lengthy process, apparently. I don't really know how all these people are getting diagnosed and hiding behind these diagnoses, and neurodivergence seems to have become the newest buzz term to describe yourself. Oh, that explains why you're such an asshole. You're neurodivergent. No, you're not an asshole, because I know that. I feel I am neurodivergent, but I have been that from birth, and also it's not like they're making it out to, it's all these people. Oh, you don't know these things, how do things, you don't follow social media at all, which I will get to. This is a topic I want to talk about. So when you follow your algorithm, when you seek on your algorithm, and it will start spitting out all the things that you have been looking for. So don't complain about what you get to see on your Instagram feed, because that is what you have looked for. I get a lot of interesting information. We do, and I know other people do as well. When you share, information with each other, there's a lot of people who look for things that deliberately depress them. I think, why? Having said that, the news now, something that I, loved looking at first thing in the morning. 3 hours, inhale, 3 hours of news. I can't. I just can't. Nothing's changing, and there's so much that is going on. Women are getting murdered every single second, and like in terrible. Yes, and then the wars we're talking about. How can we celebrating things like International Women's Day? What are you celebrating? What's there to celebrate? Inequity, inequality, constant, death of the very people that bring people into this world. But anyway, this is why it's all a bit too intense. People need escapism. That's why, the Kardashians' asses on their reality show is more, because people get off on that kind of vacuous, stupidity and their wealth. People get off on seeing wealthy people be wealthy, and then they hate them for it, but then they continue making them wealthy. People hate billionaires. Well, actually, no, there's a few. There's a faction that doesn't, and these are the people who are hoping that the billionaires, see all that ego filleting that these people do with the billionaires, and they hope to get rewarded in some way. Oof. Anyway, it's crazy. It's like, ooh, just suck that ego a bit more. All it does is... Anyway, so as I was saying, earrings, blah, blah, blah. I was talking about Instagram husbands. I'm still talking about Kate Middleton. Instagram husbands is a term is given to the devoted partners or whatever, or just partners, because, Instagram husbands love being Instagram husband, and it makes them feel, I see, yeah, we're the man. We do all this for our partners. Yeah. What I'm talking about, and why I'm talking about this, is because I had seen a post. But let me finish what I was saying before. I do need to schedule, just so that people have a fixed position. This is why people like having a television TV guide at this time, whatever, old-fashioned TV, you couldn't see it again. If you missed the show, that's why VHS was, at first, before VHS was Betamax, when you could start recording. Oh my gosh. When you missed a show on television, it was really frustrating. So streaming is really fantastic. So hello, streaming things. Because you can watch it whenever you want. There's not, something may drop. So I never understand why people have to watch something now as soon as it's, what's the term? What's the word? As soon as it's released. Thank you. Which, it's weird. But I guess it's not, they're still adhering. Interesting in this time, they're still adhering to the old television ways of watch when it.
Well, we still do that. They still pirated movies. You can get movies before they reach the cinema.
What country are you talking about? Certainly not in Australia.
There's ways. You can just download it off the internet.
Oh gosh,
the torrents.
I'm such a square. I don't do that.
No, those things still exist.
I know, but I didn't know that. But of course, all those things still exist. Of course they do. And they existed a lot in Fiji back then. That's why I thought you were talking about Fiji in the 90s, darling, or something. Because
but that's what I'm saying. Like, pirate movies are always going to be a thing.
Yeah, I never ever thought about that, because that's a completely different topic to this topic. Even though it's within the same topic. And it's interesting, because why do they still exist? Yeah. What is still going on? So that's a nice segue into that, but I don't want to get into it right now. But why and pirate and movies and how it used to be, because that's a separate thing from what I'm saying. Right. About, no, that's nothing. Why are you apologizing? To this, which I'm saying, the scheduling of a show is very old school. But if I want people to watch it live, I would like, if I want us to be watched live, then I have to schedule, look, join us every morning at this time, and we are going to be live, but you can watch the clip later. But it's always fun to see what I'm going to say live, and when it's happening live, I can't retract it. I'm not a loose cannon, don't get that wrong. Don't come here thinking, oh my God, what is she going to shoot her mouth off now about? I don't shoot my mouth off. I shoot my brain out. I shouldn't say that either. But as a formerly suicidal person, that's not funny. And as a formerly suicidal person, is it too soon to laugh about one's own? I could laugh during. Again, this space normalizes all of that shit. Normalizes trauma, and I've been through quite a bit. Again, not like what currently is happening to the world, war-torn, and they say it's conflict. What conflict? But also, there's religious things happening now. There's Ramadan. There's Holi about to happen, or is happening soon, and Easter is at the end of this. Shivaratri, and all the other religions and all other belief systems have they're all around the same time, and that's because it's harvest time in the northern hemisphere. It's going into spring. I have explained about Holi before, but I will talk about Holi perhaps another time, or during the actual time, because I want to talk about religion and its hold on women. Religion, patriarchal hold on women as well. And why have I just completely skipped to that when I'm talking about scheduling and of TV, etc. So why have I jumped to that? I don't know. There has to be a reason.
I thought we were talking about internet husband.
We are talking about internet husbands. We're going to get there, but
scheduling first, right?
Yeah, and how we're going to work that. But as I said, you can watch this later. But then I jumped to something else, the religious patriarchal hold on women. I'm talking about. I can't watch the news anymore. Also, the terrible, terrible things that are happening in the world. As I said, I'm normalizing trauma. So with all the terrible things in the world that is happening, we should not shut up about our individual trauma, because individual trauma is what is leading to the collective trauma. Because the people who are causing trauma on the world, they're unleashing their rage or unresolved issues and weaknesses, frankly, onto the world. They have trauma as well. It is unresolved issues within all of us that we step out into the world with. And you may think, well, I'm not hurting anyone else, sure, but your behavior is hurting you, and that is then hurting the environment and in some way. And anyway, that's what I'm talking about. Then I started talking about religious festivals, because I also saw these poor people in the Middle East, praying, because it is that time. They're praying, and my heart hurts for them, and I think, what are you praying for? And the first prayers are prayers about relaxing from the prayers that they do, because they have a lovely strict system of praying and washing and physical, obeisance, they do. We're not, please understand, we're not religious, but I talk about religion in respectful terms, respecting somebody else's need to have religion. But what I don't understand is this: why people don't like the question, why do you need religion? Other than as a form of identity and as unity. What do you need it for? Do you need it to be good? Can you not be good without religion and God? And people get really, really offended at these questions. However, I shouldn't say however and all that, 'cause it really makes me sound like a devil's advocate. And I certainly am not that. I'm not that. We've got enough devil's advocates in the world, and I am not that. But it is a concern for me. Women especially cannot see how, for want of a better word, wrong it is for divinity to be patriarchal, considering all that women are.
How contradictory.
How contradictory. And to hear other women that I consider intelligent and have perhaps evolved into an expanded way of thinking, to still apply, to still say, I don't know, to still cite a patriarchal form of belief. And I ask you this: what would have happened if a woman came out of a cave or out of and said, God actually spoke to me, an angel spoke to me, and this is what has been said?
I think she'd be burnt.
Yeah, the woman would be burned.
Alive or something.
But it's okay for a male of any racial grouping to come out and say this and that and whatever. And it's the other thing I need to talk about, because I was talking about this with a friend on about this issue, and I don't think it's anything I say when heard by someone who is defensive about their belief system or the comfort zones that we all like. I've been in the comfort zone for half a century. You know, so the comfort zones we all like. Then it's like, well, okay, everyone who has, because people like to say, no, don't get too self-important, or don't get, you know, people I know to cut me down always like to remind me, don't get too full of yourself. Yes, you're intelligent, you know, in subtle ways, kind ways. I'm saying that this friend didn't do it in a harsh way, but it was still a reminder that, say, the person that the belief system that they follow, the system says, yes, have self-confidence, but don't be so self-important. And I feel that is just just a way to keep everyone in their lanes. And I do say that all the belief systems, all the creators of these belief systems, patriarchal systems, all had to have ego and self-importance. Yeah. Humbleness is essential for people who have that sense of self that says, actually, I'm important. All of the religious systems and belief systems, patriarchal, faces of God, had that self-importance, had to have that belief in self that actually there is a reason why I have this higher calling and why I say and question everything. So, for instance, Siddhartha, Yeshua, and you know the others, all had epiphanies.
Well, yeah,
visions.
It makes sense that they would be that way, right?
But why is it okay to say? But they had to have some sort of ego to say, yeah. Oh my gosh, I have been chosen.
Yes, I think ego is such a
bad because word. We've equated it with some. But ego is what is.
Yeah.
It is up to the person to make that ego either bad or good. Ego is what exists within us. And people who have been called to lead the way according to racial groupings, belief systems, have all had to have some sort of humble ego that says, oh my gosh, I'm going to be standing alone. I'm going to be always alone in my beliefs. But I feel, but like, I'm sorry, but at the time all of this happened, who believed them? No one. And women now are defending things that I find really crazy when women don't ever get believed anyway. But then to say to someone like me, who I genuinely feel, and do you think I want this shit? No, it's kept me alone for majority of my life. Not lonely. I don't get lonely. I don't need. I understood a long time ago that I love humanity, and people are a necessity. I love seeing groups of people. I love seeing, you know, communities of people, but I don't need that. I know from childhood all I've ever asked for is just one person. And in that one person, I want everything. I want my best friend, and I want someone I can work with or whatever. At that stage as a youngster, I was really into adventure stories, etc. So I wanted my companion. Like Modesty Blaze had Willie Garvin. Diana of Themyscira had Steve. You know, Brenda Starr had Basil St. John. You know, every Indian queen has had a companion who believes in her, a male companion who believes in her. I've always just wanted one. I'm quite disappointed, really, with when women are called to step up and step outside of their ego. They just get so defensive. I have to have a cough. I have to cough. Excuse me. I wonder if the crook of my elbow is really germy now. But anyway, so as I'm continuing with this, I am disappointed. I'm very disappointed in what's happening with women. I'm disappointed in what women have allowed. Like, for instance, now I'm going to segue into Instagram husbands. So now I have explained that post I saw. And I agree, because I know way too many males who are married to strong women, especially to gorgeous, brilliant, strong women, to women. They're married, full stop. And they're still trolling through Instagram, looking at hot young women and liking and making comments. Like, what's that all about? I know some personally like this. Like, what are you doing? And all these women, and I guess was one, we champion all of this bullshit by saying, no, look, it's okay. We're secure in ourselves. They can look at hot people. And I don't think so. I don't think so. And I'm not at all jealous and possessive. I am not at all, but I would question why, which my husband would never, not just Dwayne, not just who Dwayne is, but my husband, my choice of husband, would never. And when they have done and do, or have done, it's like, yeah, don't care too much. Obviously, I'm not getting from you what I need. So perhaps why women especially allow this is because we're all secretly, thinking about something else. We all settle for what is, comfortable right now. Or just people go into relationships because they don't want to be alone, because they don't want to be lonely. So they get married, have a relationship, then honeymoon period wears off, and then go back to your friends. Oh, I don't get that. I'm going to change my earrings. These, by the way, are vintage. 70s. So I have always chosen, though, that I would like to be with my partner the most. But I had always told my ex-partners, no, you're not my best friend. I do have other friends and other interests, and I wish to do that. Secretly, though. Not secretly. Well, I guess you could say secretly, because it is the wanting of my soul. I wanted what I had known that I was going to have when I was a child, that I was going to grow up to be a woman who has a companion in all ways. Now, most of these, like Modesty Blaze and Willie Garvin, well, they were platonic. I didn't want that, because I didn't want to have that kind of relationship and then have a lover as well, particularly because if you do know some of my background, then you know that I was sexually assaulted at 10, at 11, and then raped twice when I was, just before I turned 14. So I knew that I didn't want to violate my body in that way. Don't worry, I'm not a victim of any of that. I sorted that out. I know it sounds like that, but I did, and I knew that I wanted a companion, because that is what I believe companionship and partnership is. Complete unity, harmony, within self first, and you've got to create that first, but not love, because love, well, people say you've got to love yourself first. I see all this love yourself shit right now, this self-care stuff, this be positive, as unfortunately being quite fake, and forcing yourself to be positive and pretending you're a certain way when it's not really. I think what you've got to do is be complete within yourself. Love is something that comes to us out. We don't need to love yourself. You just need to be happy with yourself. You just need to accept who you are, and not try and get happiness on at everybody else's expense. Not on standing on their backs, or not depending on them to create happiness within you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think you've just got to find acceptance within yourself, and then love comes after that. As I have said, babies are born not knowing how to love, but just being, open to everything. You treat them with horrible hatred, they're just going to be crying all the time. Sorry. And that's not a fair thing to say, because babies are going to cry. Babies can't talk, so they cry. Babies' teeth having these terrible, hard enamel things come out of their gums, their soft, tender gums. That is going to, Adults can't handle tooth pain. Imagine what a poor child, a baby, a new vessel. But you have always said, when babies, what do they know? What have they come into the world knowing? And what do we erase out of their minds. But love,
They got that look.
yeah, they have that.
That look. They know so.
But love is something that is poured upon the child. It's given to the child so they understand what love is. Because sometimes love can be detrimental. Sometimes that child can be spoilt with all that love. So, love is something that we learn from others. I feel you have to be complete within yourself. And then you can have the clarity to know what it is you want. When you know what you want, that's what you actually... But everybody wants a savior. Everybody wants a savior. And the only savior is yourself. And then you're like, all right, well, if you're ready, if that's what you want, if you want companionship, then it'll happen for you. I have always... I've chosen well in my partners, but that doesn't mean I, like other women, have also chosen for comfort zone. And for me, the comfort zone was safety. I needed to feel safe. But I had also understood that hardly any women are with who they are supposed to be, because all of us hide who we are underneath the rituals of society, the expectations of society, the barbaric customs that we have said is what you have to do. Women have to shave and put all this stuff on and blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, ew, you're disgusting. Other women looking at photographs of unshaved women, which, by the way, I am one now. I don't shave my underarms. Having said that, I do still shave my legs because I like the aesthetic value. So I understand that women perhaps prefer, and there's certainly a lot of weak males, not men. Men are different. There's weak people who look at that and go, yuck, and they say yuck to the natural body. It's processed. I stopped shaving my underarms because I have always had issues with the skin. My skin would burn, waxing would rip off my skin, shaving, regardless of how gently and how expensive the shaver, would tear my skin. Why would I do that to myself? Except no one else was accepting of having hair. Anytime stubble comes up, it's like, ooh, you need to shave. I'm like, so what? That's hair. You need to shave. And males feel so free to put women down, darling. It's like, have you looked at yourself? Anyway, these people are crazy. So anyway, companionship. So it takes a while. People like to say, oh, you're so lucky. And that's the other thing. I get told that a lot, how lucky I am. As if this companionship, as if this harmony we have was just some sort of lucky, drop in my shopping basket, because I have also had people say to me, women, friends, I want a Dwayne. Yeah, Dwayne's not a product, and I'm not lucky, I am favored. And I am favored first and foremost with a brain that was able to work a lot of shit out. I'm going to now go back to that Instagram husbands thing. Yeah, I think, and also you've got to ask yourself, how do you really feel? Or have you just resigned yourself to that? Or do you know what your husband's doing? It's like the CEO of Tourism Fiji. It's quite appalling. I don't know why I still follow this idiot's account, because I like to see what he's doing. I don't know if he's following mine, but my God. What?
You do it for Fiji.
I do it for Fiji because he's an expatriate Euro white Australian, and selling Fiji to other people like him, and making Fiji out to be the destination of the rich and bogan. And anybody who wants to be treated like royalty, because the Fiji people, they're used to being colonized. They're just going to go massage your feet whenever you want them to. How dare you? Fiji was a luxury destination once upon a time. That is the Fiji I grew up in. Okay? This is not it. But anyway, going back to what the CEO is doing, Instagram husbands. Well, his partner, I don't think it's his, I don't know, it doesn't matter regardless. It's supposed to be his partner. They've just had a child. And this idiot is still going around. I like to monitor people. They're still going around and on young girls, accounts publicly saying, "Ooh, look at you coming out of the pool all wet." I'm like,
well, is it a different time now?
You're saying
this is a normal thing that people do now?
Accepted behavior for older guys with partners to go and like and comment on hot girls and hot young women and accounts.
I don't know what dating is like now, or like what relationships are like now. We're pretty old fashioned in that sense, where, but we've taken it to the next level because we are each other's everything. We're each other's best friend.
Oh, but we can't say that. Beware, because anybody with a patriarchal religion will say, no, 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 you should not make any. You know, it's like it's called purpose. So first of all, you're not supposed to have any self importance because nothing is. I'm sorry, all these patriarchal words are not gospel for me. They're not what is. These are all philosophies and ideologies, and yet to go against them makes you, everyone gets so defensive and they all gang up and people start making you feel like you're the anomaly because you're asking, but why do you need this control of your mind?
Yeah, what I was getting to is that we are looking at it from, because we're older now. We're 50 and 40, right? That's around the time
50s and 40s, yeah.
Around the time we met. So we're more mature, and all of these things are happening to younger people. And is that what the world is like now?
Younger women especially have always had older, especially white, Euro-white guys, but just older guys, always, sniffing around, always.
That's always been the norm, right?
But now, social media has given some privacy, but also it's all out there. Yeah. So because the CEO of Tourism Fiji is considered a celebrity in Fiji, I mean, look, he gets called Ratu, which is the highest accolade,
Any white man.
Yeah, any white man in Fiji.
In Fiji
gets called Ratu, but please understand, as an Indo-Fijian, I find that really insane because as an Indo-Fijian, we would never be allowed to get away with, even those of us born and brought up and bred, people older than me who've been there. A 100-year-old man will not be able to call himself Ratu, but this Euro-white trash goes in. He's a very, very successful. That's why they've still kept him there, because he's still bringing in all the other people like him to, I know Fiji like the back of my hand, eh, mate? No, you don't. You go on to Denarau, which has just become some trashy surfer's paradise from being what it was once, a luxury destination, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And now, sadly, because of coups and mismanagement and pandemics and God knows what, and then they go to Yanuza Island, say Fijian, they used to know the back, Shangri-La's Fijian used to be there, and I don't know. And they don't go to Suva, and Suva was so beautiful. Suva still is beautiful. It's just the infrastructure is not. But anyway, so you were saying.
The infrastructure is the same as it was 20 years ago?
Oh, 20 years ago was what? No, in the 90s. In the 90s, Suva was fantastic. Yeah, 20 years ago, darling, is noughties. Suva in the 90s and 80s was pretty spectacular. Excuse me, I need to cough again. So, what you're saying, yes, darling, but no, I don't think it's right. I think it's still, are young women okay with this? But
I'm not saying it's right. It's never been right. No. There's always been problems with the dating scene, but now we're looking at it from
an older perspective.
An older perspective. Now we're looking at everything like, shit.
But I'm also looking at it from an older woman's perspective, and older women who are, my age women, who are married, and I know their husbands, and I know what their husbands are doing, because I may follow, like, say, friends of mine, because I believe that, I don't believe that if you have women friends, they need to be my friends as well. No, and they're your friends, I have male friends, that, and that's great, but I don't want to spend time with them over you.
Sure.
And sadly, and look, I do feel that men and women can be best friends and have a platonic relationship, but after a while, if you're in a relationship, and especially if that relationship becomes serious and you're in a partnership, and then you go on to having it legally, legalized, and it's a marital, legally recognized, you can't have a best friend of the other. I'm sorry, you just can't. I now realize that. Because as I had said to my ex-partner of over 2 decades, I want to be with you the most, but you are not my best friend. And this is why I had a huge selection of friends. And I had to choose. 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 And I had to cho my symphony friends, my art gallery friends, my op shopping friends, my fashion friends,
And
my intelligent friends.
is that because people don't always meet their, because we met late, is what I'm saying.
Yes, and you have this theory with children about genetic memory, right?
And also you made leaps. You took risks. People get stuck in their comfort zones and they probably meet their matches somewhere along the line, but they don't. The decision is, what's the decision here that they have to make?
Let's have a conversation about that on a different thing, because that really needs to be addressed. Because yes, I was in my late 40s and you were in your late 30s when we met, and we didn't meet as relationship, whatever. We met as colleagues, but I knew that this was different, something different, because we met in Fiji, and in Fiji I am a well-known person, but also Fiji is just freaking gossip central. Suva, my beloved, our beloved city of birth, is just gossip central. And I don't even breathe in the direction of males I have known since I was a child, because gossip and rumor.
Yeah.
But I did not care with you. I didn't. We sat all night talking about work. We were, the first time we met, we were inseparable.
Yeah.
Just really, and people saw that, and of course the assumption, well, they were not wrong, because the chemistry was of, oh my God, this is my one.
Yeah.
But you knew that, you saw me as a celebrity, but also I was, as far as you're concerned, I wasn't married before, but for intents and purposes, I said I was. I considered my ex-partner, I called him my husband. And so, of course, everyone thinks that way. And we had a work relationship, but it was there from the start.
Yeah.
And why and how I got this miracle is one of the reasons why I am filled with my self-importance, where I think I do have a calling. Why was I given these gifts? For what reason, if not to tell others, look, there is another way. You may not choose to believe that my way is the best way. I'm not saying that. I have been a bit forceful with that as well. Like, do it this way. I know what I'm talking about. This is the right way. Learn your mistakes. Go ahead. Learn your experiences. I think we all need to have those mistakes. It's kind of shit that we do. I really would love to spare a lot of people a lot of heartache.
Yeah.
But there's a few things that happened to me in that, and my first major one was meeting you, and then the major one was my mother dying. She knew I was about to give up my entire life to be her full-time palliative carer, and she was in a vegetative state after a fall and an operation. But she heard me. She knew that I'm not going to. My mother got to 80. It's almost like, and I have talked to other people about this, and people are willing to believe that such a thing happens because it has happened to others. Because miracles happen all the time. Miracles happen all the time, every day. It's just we get so lost in stress or in our own world, etc., that we forget to see. But just looking up the sky, as things fly up there.
That's a miracle.
The sky yesterday was insane. It was deep pinks and beautiful, and the birds, the ibis and the cockatoos were all on a tree together. It was just stunning. It was just so miraculous. Anyway, so we have to talk about that separately, because there were a few things, and I had to make some really big leaps. I had to get out of my comfort zone, because as far as everyone was concerned, why would you want to break a good thing? You're in a great relationship and privilege galore. Yeah, great, whatever. But I wasn't happy. I was suicidal, and not a single person of my ex-family knew.
Yeah, so
even though they knew I was traumatized.
That's you have to be brave enough to make that decision.
People don't jump out of their comfort zones. It is very, very difficult. It took me.
Weigh up the options. What's better.
And women especially have to do this. What's better, being alone? Because being alone is hard. There are women my age, we're tired. We don't have to keep working, and we work for younger people because they put younger people or old people of the gatekeepers of the old constructs. There's all these young people, and older women have to actually what? I'm sorry, what? These younger people set the and we've got to work like, so older women still have to work like we're valuable. So older women are given this choice of work like you don't have menopause and you're not tired. Like, sit down, all the celebrities of the world. Come on, we know you're menopause. We know what's happening to your vagina. We know you're having hot flushes. We know you're freaking tired as hell. What the hell are you all still doing? Strutting your shit in front of paparazzi just to stay relevant. What the hell? So you've got to stay relevant by looking young. Bullshit. Look at what older celebrity women especially have done to younger women. Don't start, and Eurostream has allowed pornography and the filth that passes off as sex now. What happened to sensuality? Well, look, that doesn't sell, does it? Unless if it's in a movie, then it's like, ooh. And of course, as I had said about the State of America's Academy Awards, actresses, there's a snippet we posted just from an old live, that the Academy Award of the State of America loves their actresses to really deform themselves in some way to get the Best Actress role. And sure enough, Emma Stone, she of insignificance, has won her second Academy Award. How many has Viola Davis won? How many has Lupita won? Oh, of course, Lupita had to be awarded because Best Supporting Actress is where they like to award tokenism and optics, etc. So there's always someone of color who wins it, or an actress who deserves it finally. Lupita for A Slave for 12 Years, etc. That was a harrowing role, so she deserved something. But where is she now? She's just trotted out only if people want some mileage for fashion, etc. But she's not trotted out. She's not given the roles that bland people like Sydney Sweeney, I can't believe I know these names, all these blandness. And then don't come back at me with Sydney Sweeney was in Euphoria and White Lotus. Bland, and indicative of the times. The shows now really show me what's happening in the zeitgeist and in the generations. I'm sorry, Generation Z. I'm sorry, younger millennials, but what happened to Generation Y? Generation Y not? Generation Y, is this happening to us? I don't know.
No, Generation Y is millennials, right?
No, that's Generation Y for sure. But I'm sorry that the older generations have messed it all up so badly that this is the world you're in and this is what you think is normal and all this woe and angst. Ugh, oh my gosh. But, and yet I do feel you're so brave for withstanding all of this. But okay, how do people meet? And I'm so glad I've never had to do these dating apps. I'm so glad I was completely out of it. My older friends who have had divorces and they left their partners that they married for all the wrong reasons. And as women age, all of a sudden you go, oh my God, am I going to get old with that? And especially women, there's a lot of women who are married to older men, especially Euro white males. And they really, first of all, were badges of virility and credibility. And then we become nannies. And it's like, I'm sorry, what? You want me to stick around for your happiness because you don't want to be alone in your old age? I'm still young. This famously happened to Paulina Poroskova, a supermodel of the 80s and one of the still remaining models of the time who deserve that supermodel title. Some of the rest, you don't deserve it anymore. When you have to inject your face and try so hard to appear relevant as the supermodel you were dubbed when you were just a child yourself, you forfeit that. But Paulina Poroskova, right? She was married to Rick Ocasek, the lead singer of the renowned and respected band Cars. And really the only famous song of theirs I know is Who's Gonna Drive You Home Tonight? That's like miserable shit. Now, look, I get why Paulina, this drop dead, one of gorgeous, married this ugly guy, because beautiful women are so sick and tired of guys who just want them for their beauty. However, for some reason, beautiful women think that they're not entitled to beautiful men because beautiful men are very rare. And beautiful guys, when they're young, know something about that and they don't lack for attention. So they become a bit vacuous, way more vacuous than actually young, beautiful women who think that beauty is their only passport to anything. Instead of seeing that beauty is the draw card for something else they have in them that they should be cultivating in their youth. And so their physicality will take care of it in their youth, and when they don't realize that physicality is most important in your old age. And youth is where when you cultivate your mind to understand that your face and body are your friends, that rewards you when you're older. Anyway, so what I am saying about what's happening now, sure, but it's been happening. People were getting together for the wrong reasons way before. I'm talking something that has happened for centuries now, millennia. Marriage was seen as a business proposition, and and various other things, and not at all taking into account DNA matches, and all of that. I will go back to me not shaving my underarms again because people are like, ew, you can no. The body regulates itself. I smell wonderful, and and we are each other's, we give each other pheromones. And once you stop masking it and contaminating your body with all the synthetic fragrances and aromas that we put on ourselves, don't get me wrong, I still love all those things. I wear perfume, sadly. My last perfume, and water. You must drink. The importance of water is not stated enough because it's always just, you must drink water. And human beings are so tired of being told what we must do. I'm worried it comes across sometimes in the way I speak. But we are okay if we get told by God or authorities or whatever, and then we just are rebellious. But you don't. This is why religion works. Because people didn't want to be told by other people what to do, but you put in an invisible male in the clouds and threats of, woe betide you if you don't listen to God. Woo! That fear works more in controlling the masses than just asking politely, can you do this? For instance, flight attendants get trained in an event of emergency. They are not going to say, excuse me, Mr. and Mrs. blah, 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 or excuse me, Ms., or excuse me, sir, or excuse me, ma'am, or whatever, however way they speak. We're having an emergency. Could you please leave your seat and just make your way to the exit? The exits are there. No! They're like, all right, come on, we've got an emergency. Get up and let's go, let's go, let's go. Come on, we're about to freaking crash. Let's go. Well, okay, I'm a flight attendant on this planet. on this great big, darling, you can describe how we're not actually stagnant and we're not actually in one spot in the universe. We are
constantly moving.
We are not only spinning, we are orbiting inside something that orbits the sun. Mm-hmm. So the sun orbits the galaxy, sorry. So we're spinning and orbiting around our around our star that makes us our solar system. And that solar system then travels around the galaxy.
Yep.
Right? And that's a huge, huge thing, but let's talk to the sharks about that one. Sharks have existed for 2 cosmic orbits. And not only that, but we are hurtling.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's all just pretty spinning and orbiting inside one thing.
No.
The galaxy in the cosmic orbit is hurtling within the universe.
Yes, that's right. That's the assumption.
So I'm a flight attendant on this carrier called Planet Air. And I'm telling you, this is an emergency. Get up, wake up, move. Oh, but it's too brusque and abrupt. I don't like her. I don't like the way she talks. I don't like the way she... Well, maybe it's not for you then. Maybe it's meant for someone who is strong. Because words like this only matter to strong people, not weak people. Weak people need to have their comfort zones and hide behind them. Go for it, so be it. But anyway, so I was talking about hair. I'm my ex-partner because I remained friends with him for a while after until I really found out what these kinds of males are, like. And he made fun of me like, ew, you've got hair. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you're spying on my stuff. I'm like, well, I like it. It stopped me, ripping skin off, and I feel very womanly and sexy and sensual. And I love that my husband loves it. And we are going to talk about hair, actually, and because it is, something. It is a topic. What is this animosity towards hair? The thing that protects us. Why are we so? It's almost like human beings hate being human. There's something animalistic in us that wants to punish us for being human. How dare we continue having fur when we stood up? So Euro-white constructs want to make women hairless all over, a grown-up child. You know, Eurostream women have encouraged the filth and pornography. But first, maybe it was against their will, and I'm not saying women don't enjoy that kind of sex. Hell yes. Heaven yes.
Maybe we're forcing evolution to do that.
Hang on, excuse me.
Maybe that's the whole point of it. Hair removal. We're forcing evolution. We're not supposed to have.
Then why does it keep growing back? Why does hair keep
So
growing back?
maybe every generation after this will have
Less hair.
less hair.
I do, and I, as a child, as an Indian girl, I had less hair. I did not have hair on my arms, etc. But I shaved the hair on my arms when I was a child.
Some races that don't have hair, like
Yeah.
Africans, Asians.
Because they need melanin.
So some people need hair, some people don't. Maybe we're just moving towards a time when humans won't ever need hair.
But even Euro-white people have a lot of hair depending on where they come from. So the colder the climate, the more hair. And Asians don't have hair because their evolution came about in a very different way. The faction that we'll talk about evolution and what we think is our imaginations as to how the world evolved. But I'm talking about hair and all that because it is through the natural sense and pheromones of the body is how we recognize who we're meant to be with. This is why we kiss. People don't really know why we kiss. We kiss because we inhale each other's fragrance from here. And therefore we lock our mouths so we can't breathe from mouths, and we are able to inhale from each other. And inhaling from each other then absolutely lets your cells know this is safety. This is your companion. Kissing is such a big deal. So, you know, women especially put a lot into kissing. If a man can kiss, then, you know, it's... But so many can't. And then we say, oh, look, it's okay. As long as they know how to go down on us, and so many don't. Then we go, okay. As long as they can, you know, give us orgasms. We get releases. And then we fake it. And then, you know, I don't know. But all these guys, darling, they all think, anyway. But we will talk about sex and what it is actually like to have sex with who you're meant to have sex with.
Well, are women honest with the men?
No, women are not honest with men at all because women are scared.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Women can't be honest with men. I have been honest with guys. My God, the ego. Holy cow, the only person I've ever been honest with is you. Because you have listened to me, truly. Not just to give me pleasure, but to listen to me so I can get pleasure. There are guys who listen, but it's only about, you know, achieving the ultimate goal of giving the woman an orgasm. And it's not about her. It's about them. I've had guys like, you know, and I, as a woman, have been fairly lucky. Lucky. Not because, well, after I was raped when I was 13, 14, I made sure that my taste in men, and of course because my other things where I had a demon father who was violent. So my taste in men evolved in a certain way to not want those kinds. So I still wanted someone dynamic, but not emotionally manipulative. And that's where, unfortunately, so many of us get fooled. Especially the stronger you are as a woman, the more you can get fooled in that regard. Anyway, so you really, really have to know yourself. And knowing yourself doesn't mean being cold. Being like, oh, you know, I don't believe in love. No, that's cold. And that makes you a weakling because that means at your core, you are hurt and you don't want to be hurt. So on the surface, you're going to be cold and thick-skinned. Oh, nah, mate. That doesn't make you brave and strong. And that just means as a woman, you are a misogynist and you want a doormat. As a male, you are also a misogynist and you also want a doormat. Work yourselves out. You're fucking the world up. Yeah, you know. And also, you stink. You all stink. You're contaminating the world, and that's why you love your perfumes. Human beings contaminated the world, and especially the ones who colonized it, and the constructs are, and you know. But anyway, I love that we can identify each other with the aroma of our cells. So those are the few things I wanted to say that, look, I'm not lucky. I've done a lot of work on myself. And so has Dwayne. Dwayne isn't all of a sudden, he isn't lucky. He got plucked off a shelf or something, or guys may think, oh man, you got it lucky, bro. I'm like, no. Women like me don't look at you gym bros or your, hoe bros or your keep 'em keen bros, you players, because you got what? Big dick energy, my ass. You've got little dick energy and big dickhead energy. I will honestly say to you that men with who are well endowed don't actually have an ego issue. They don't have an ego. They're just quietly self-confident. But is size necessary? This is what women have said in order to make the egos of males feel better. Is size necessary? Yes, it is. Sorry, our cervix are what need to be. And people don't actually know what the cervix looks like, which is inside the vaginal canal. Which vagina does mean canal. They don't understand what it looks like. The cervix actually looks like the head of a penis. It's almost like, because of course all embryos start off as female.
Sure.
Before the Y chromosome comes in and says, this one's going to be a male. They don't get the responsibility of propagation. So, and so then I feel that comes out, but the inside of it actually looks like, and that hole is big enough to bring another human being.
That's it.
It's insane. But the orgasms there, inside, internally, and it's got nothing to do with G-spots and G-spot named after a German doctor, Grafenberg. Bullshit. I don't want any spot inside my vagina named after a male. Get to know your clitoris. It's huge. It's all over your pelvis inside. And really, it starts here. This is where the clit is, in your brain. So we will talk about sex. I don't know if we'll talk about it on our podcast, Radio Fly, which there are some new episodes on it for 2024. Please go ahead, listen to more things I have to say. We have to say a bit more of a dual conversation there, because this is, Dwayne is always doing things when I'm talking, but on a podcast we are able to, talk together, and I can pause, etc. And it's a bit more, yeah. But usually I like to have a free flow conversation. So this is just, I'm just really confused about what women are doing. Just celebrating International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day. And so you're going to quote a patriarchal belief system. You're going to quote a patriarchal God. You're going to tell me it's very feminist of you to, it's so liberating to be covered. Well, great, your choice. You can feel liberation comes from here. It doesn't matter what you're wearing or not wearing. Even with girls who are shoving their asses and the basic, why don't you just put your anus up to the lens? Is that what you're doing? You're wearing dental floss and think what's this obsession with all your asses? Skinny, big, I don't care. I don't want to see them. And once in a while, great. Absolutely, celebrate your body. Everyone, celebrate your body. Fuck what everyone says what your body's supposed to look like, but don't force your contamination. That's what we've all done. We've all done this. I'm coming down really hard on women, and I know why. It's because I came from a God, a mother. My mother was God, is God. All women are, regardless of whether or not they're mothers. And we don't rise to this because, well, it's been suppressed in the first place. But what do you think is doing the world dirty? The patriarchal constructs. Oh, gosh, it's all so tiring. But yeah, I had started, talking about Kate Middleton. Yeah, gosh, look, I had said in yesterday's Daily Egg, it's all bogus, all these photographs, and my darling. Now, 3 main media agencies, the ones that are well respected, etc., Associated Press and a couple of others, have said, sorry, this photo is doctored, and they won't use it. And so what has Kensington Palace done? Again, released a statement via social media. Fuck off. In a world of filters and bullshit,
Well, the royal graphic designer is going to be fired.
Yeah. But Kate, apparently it's from Kate saying, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was just doing Photoshop and I made a mistake." Bullshit. So we're expected to believe she's so unwell, she can't be seen until next month. But she's well enough to do Photoshop, which, hello, even seasoned veteran photographers like myself we hate Photoshop. Graphic designers do Photoshop. But yeah, whoever sloppily did it is getting fired. Okay? But I'm sorry, I do think that now I am giving absolute credence to this conspiracy theory that, because I have heard it by a friend of yours, that Kate Middleton may be dead. And if that's the case, it's terrible for the children to lose, But anyway, so that's it. That's our Daily Egg for today. And look, this is what this is all about. The Daily Egg, packed full of nutrition. Oh my gosh, the egg. Such a problem all of this creates. Every time I finish a Daily Egg, I think, oh my God, do I dare publish this? Why the hell not? Oh, look, we have such very few viewers. Maybe amongst you there is that one person who will definitely make a change. Will definitely change this world, because this world isn't changing because people aren't changing. And women, yeah, you and your talk of feminism, when you're putting womanism below feminism, which is a capitalist construct for the patriarchal constructs. And if you do come to me with your belief in patriarchal belief systems, or your adherence to patriarchal belief systems, I'm going to listen to you. And I'm going to ask questions because I'm genuinely curious as to why you feel this way. But anyway, all right, thank you for being here. That's us for today. We love you. I do, truly. I love this world. I love this land we call Australia, this sacred land. I love the country of our birth, the beautiful island that is the international date line goes right through it. It's the way the world should have been, or that country could have been the way the world should be. It's a microcosm of the world. I love every part of this world. I love the Middle East. I love the Eurostream constructs. I wish it was done as collaborative, evolution and progress of society. But no, it's not that. It's constructs. Anyway, blah, blah. We'll be back some other time, but I do feel there's going to be some restructuring happening this week, and I do feel that the Daily Egg is going to be scheduled. Don't fear, it will never be scripted. And maybe edited a bit. Bye.